At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
There's a lot of pressure to wear the right clothes for every situation, but the clothes don't make the man. With Mack Weldon, you can build a wardrobe that looks polished in any setting and tells the world you stay you wherever you go. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MACK25. That's MackWeldon.com. Promo code MACK25.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Mike Mahoney.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Absolutely. I'm happy to have you. It's for me, I get a joy to talk to people that are talented like yourself and just talk about the journey. But I love starting from the beginning. I always say at the beginning, chart our trajectory in life, our little habits that we pick up along the way follow us into our adulthood. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And how did you find your way into music?
Well, my childhood is I grew up in Southern California and sort of a Leave It to Beaver kind of family. I mean, my dad worked, my mom was a housewife, went through school, lived in Los Angeles, primarily later Orange County. That was really the more influence in my life because I was older. And then I actually career-wise, started up in Orange County and later in the years moved down to San Diego and did there. So
nice.
that part. And then as far as the music is concerned, and part of the whole thing is I'm 77 years old. Okay. So
wow. Look amazing.
Thank you. The compliments are well appreciated. Anyway, what happened was that back in college, I started in high school, but back in college, I was in a folk rock group up in Orange County. And we played some college gigs and some different things, but I wasn't really very talented or had the discipline to really learn music the way it should be learned, okay? But I did write several songs and I did play them in different colleges and concerts and things like that. Then Uncle Sam, I lost my student deferment and I got drafted and I went into the Army. And candidly, when I came back, it was time to get a real job. And so basically my music, 3 years ago, to fast forward 3 years ago, my family and a good friend of mine started on me about, gee, Mike, why don't you do something with your music? You should do this as a legacy. Yeah. And so I have a friend, David Blackburn, who is my producer, arranger, jack of all trades. We went in the studio and we recorded an album that is songs that I wrote. Most of them were from the older days and some of them were new, and it was a vanity thing. And so I really enjoyed the experience.
I love that. So, would you say that you had for me, the first time I listened or watched the Alfred Hitchcock series Presents, I had The Seed Was Planted of like, I wanted to be a filmmaker, like I wanted to do what he did. Was there a time where it was like a song or something you watched that kind of sparked that curiosity for your musical journey?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple of things. My dad had an office in Beverly Hills. We didn't live in Beverly Hills, but his clients were Ozzie and Harriet Nelson,
Nice.
Vincent Price. So these people, as a kid, when my dad would go to their houses or whatever, I'd sometimes ride along. So I had been around that, and Ricky Nelson was big at the time, and I got to meet him. And so, like probably most 12, 13, 14-year-old boys at the time, we all wanted to be Ricky Nelson or Elvis Presley or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, that was the early part. Then in 61, when I started high school, surf music became really big.
Mm,
And Dick Dale and the Deltones, Let's Go Trippin' is the song. When I hear it, it instantly takes me back there.
mm.
And so I pretty well just through high school just sort of fooled around with it. In college, got a little more serious. But again, I understand pie in the sky, and you being in the film business, you know that a lot of it is pie in the sky,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of connections to make something happen. So when I came back, as I said, from Vietnam, I just got a job and went to work, got married, and had a family.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's so cool. Um, so let's definitely get into your new song, We Were Golden. Um, Tell me a little bit about the process of that. I love that you bring the
Yeah.
California sound into the 21st century, which is brilliant. But yeah, tell me about the process.
Yeah, what happened was is I had finished my album On the Road and a little over a year ago, and I thought I was done, one and done. And but then I got the idea that Brian Wilson has always been a significant influence in my life and music and just what he writes and all of that. And I wanted to do a tribute song to him. And candidly, Meosha, I just wanted to write the song, record it, and send it to him. That was no more than that. And when we started out, Dave Blackburn, who is my producer, arranger, musician,
Nice.
really does a wonderful job. Very, very talented man. And we started out, and it was going to be about California. Well, we got worried that it became too much of a geographical song and not a song about the time. And Dave said to me, Mike, you lived through this phenomenal time in Southern California and especially in Orange County. Why don't we do the song about your experiences? So We Were Golden is an exaggerated version of my life during that time. And a lot of it happened. A lot of the people in the song and in the movie that we're in the process of pre-production on are people that I knew. I mean, they're characters,
Amazing.
but their characters are based on real people.
No, I love that. I love that you pulled from real life things. I always find that very interesting when an artist does that because I don't know, it just makes it more relatable. It's like, yeah, that's I had something similar to that, or just I don't know, feel more connected to it.
Yeah, I think that for me, it was a case of, uh, as for us in Orange County in Southern California at that time, it was not the psychedelic of San Francisco. We were very naive, very, we didn't have all those other influences. We were still sort of a Leave It to Beaver kind of community. And so going to college, I went local JC. That sort of kept me in that same cocoon,
Mhm.
and which, of course, the Army and later life sort of took me out of. But we wanted to capture what Dave and I wanted to capture was the innocence of the time, and yet
Mm,
how much the Vietnam War affected all the guys that were my age.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Are you someone that play? Do you play instruments? Do you play any like?
Oh, I play a really lousy guitar, um, and I play enough that I can write. I don't write the music per se. I sort of by ear, sort of figure out something. Then I take it into Dave, and he arranges it and puts it into real music. I mean, I love to play the guitar. I love I love
Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Saying, of course, age sort of slows that down. And that's why for the song We Were Golden, I didn't sing on it because we wanted to capture the Beach Boys sound. And in doing that, we needed to get siblings that have that kind of harmony. So we found Patch and Liam Crome, who are the band Daring Greatly. They're very, very good artists, very well known out here and really around the country. And we took them into the studio and they did the vocals. And you've heard it, so you know how good it is. It's really they knocked it out of the park.
They really did. It's amazing. Like I literally am like dropped into that time, and this like that feeling that you wanted to convey. I'm curious now with the cinematography, which I haven't got to see the video yet, but I will. But I can only imagine. Like going into the, like visually speaking with this song, how did you approach it, and what ways did it reflect the culture emotionally and like the landscape of like the 60s?
Yeah, when you see it, it's Bill Garrity, who is a pretty well-known director and cinematographer. He's third generation Hollywood. Bill's retired, he's a golf buddy of mine, and whatever. He and I did the video together.
Nice.
And it's all unlike what you would see today. It follows the lyrics by shot after shot after shot.
Oh, nice.
About half of it is stock photography we found, and the other part we shot. And so it takes you back to that time. We use a 1967 Mustang. We show pictures of the beach from back then and from now. We went all over Southern California to film it. And so it tells the story. It follows the lyrics, which a lot of videos that people do for music are more about the artists and all of this. This was just storytelling. This was trying to say, listen to the lyrics. Here's what it looks like.
Right. Yeah. No. And I think that's really, really cool. I have a fun question, and I love to ask everyone this, and there's no wrong answer.
Okay.
Yeah, so no pressure. The 3 levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, that got emotional. Respect. And I didn't do this. None of this has been done for financial gain. I've been blessed in my life, and I was an entrepreneur and relatively successful. And to the point that I did this, part of it that I wanted to leave a legacy to my kids. And also I just wanted to try it. I said, you know what? And very candidly, Meosha, we've had phenomenal response, not just to the song, but to the video, to the whole concept of what we're doing. We've been prompted to start writing this. I've got a storyboard done. I've got the storyline done. We've got the camera shots pretty well lined up, where we haven't written a pure script, because we figure whoever really picks it up will probably want to, bring in their own their own screenwriter.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's cool. Have you Do you have like any like people that like you look up to like as your like a North Star when it comes to like music? And if so, um my question after that would be if you could have a coffee date with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Well, I think I said it, Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson. Well,
Yep.
okay. I love
I
that.
mean, it's just Meosha. It's even in the later years, the stuff that he has written, the lyrics are amazing to me. Okay, he comes up with stuff, and a lot of it's very um, almost like prophecy. The way he states
Hmm.
things. He has a line, and I see if I can remember it right. Your first love you never can repeat, but you never lose it.
Hmm.
And that just knocked me out when I heard that because
Yeah.
it's so true. Your first love is something that makes a phenomenal impression on you, and you never lose it your whole life, no matter who comes and goes after that. That one never leaves you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true. That's very real. Um,
Yeah,
in this journey of the creative, it's really tough to um with there's so much music, coming out. And a lot of times I talk to artists and just creatives, and they feel kind of get lost in the process and trying to keep up with the trends and things. But how do you approach music as far as like because it is a business, but how do you still approach it and also not lose get lost in the trends, I guess.
yeah. Well, being a
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
my age, I've
Yeah.
I've lived through a lot of the trends. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what amazes me, Miosha, is when you see commercials on TV and they're using songs from the '60s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Turtles, "Happy Together," okay,
Yeah.
is a car. I mean, all these songs. Okay, now these are 60-some-year-old songs, and they're
Mhm.
still playing them. Okay, and so it gives me heart. As I say, I didn't start this for financial. I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. In other words, I'm not trying to put myself in a box,
Yeah. Love
or
that.
to try and be somebody. When I talk about respect, I want respect for the quality of the work I do. But as you know, whether it's film or it's music, there's a lot of different tastes out there, and you're not going
Yeah.
to please everybody. You're not even going to please half the people.
It's true.
So you just have to do what you feel you like and what you're best at.
I love that. Absolutely. And it takes off the pressures of social media or, society, and just create because you really enjoy creating. And I feel like the more it's like watering a seed, even if like as long as you're having fun doing the things that you're doing, then it's all worth it. So,
Exactly. I was my main life was in real estate development. I was a large home builder. I built large subdivisions here in Southern California, and I missed that because you would buy the land, you would design the houses, you would watch them go up, and then you would sell them, and somebody would buy them and move on. It's project based, and I've always been a project based person. So that's how I approach this. This is a project for me.
mhm.
And originally, it was just going to be a recording of my songs, and we got into We Were Golden. And then I got all kinds of pressure or influence to say, Mike, you need to try and look at doing a Netflix series on this or something
Mm,
because it's really an interesting take of that time. It's not the Monkees and it's not a Daisy and the Six. It's somewhere in between,
mm.
and that's what we're trying to create.
And you did just that. It's beautifully well packaged, and just the sound is just it's gorgeous. It's a really gorgeous piece, and I'm very excited for it now that it's out and everything. Um, there's a line I think in there that in the song. I think it's we're taking off. for Mars, if that's not, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that line comes. It's about taking off to Mars was because there were a lot of Battle of the Bands back in those days, especially in Southern California. Everybody had a garage band. Everybody was playing somewhere on the weekends, and they'd have 4 bands, and it would be the Battle of the Band. Whoever won got the $100 or whatever it was. And also, it was a very big time in space. Okay, the '60s were all about Apollo and going to the moon and all of that. So it's sort of got a space connection, and Dave Blackburn, my producer, is very into that kind of thing. So he came up with the line about we're headed off to Mars. And that's why when you see the video, there's an actual Titan missile going off, okay, after there's a scene of a Battle of the Bands. And then it just shows us, it exits, the whole song exit with this rocket ship going up into space and taking off. It's, we were golden. We thought we had it planned, and the whole idea is that we thought at that time we were golden and that we could do anything, and going to Mars was the next thing.
Absolutely, going to Mars. If you could go to Mars, would you?
No. I like Southern California. I mean, I'm not a big, you can give me I'm fine, Meosha. I can stay right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was reading something, I don't know, and like something they were saying like you could have it like now you can, travel to Mars, and people were like, oh yeah, I would. I'm like, I think I would not. I don't want that.
I don't know what you'd see. I mean, you've been up since you've been in California, I mean, you go up to the high Sierras, you go up the Central Coast, all these places, they're so beautiful. What else do you need?
Right. Exactly. They're gorgeous. Absolutely. It's interesting. I love what you said. You're doing music because you love it and it's not for any type of gain. But do you feel that nowadays, because there's this thing of like independent artists, mainstream artists, all this other stuff. But, with all the technology and AI that's here, that can kind of put you ahead and almost like a mainstream artist with all the technology here. How do you embrace, or do you feel like indifferent with AI?
Well, I don't know. Remember, I'm old, so AI is still a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm still trying to figure out my cell phone, but but I give you this. When I went into the studio to record, I really didn't know anything about Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon. Sirius was was what I used in my car.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
And so when I went in the studio, and of course with the technology, they could make somebody like me sound pretty good, okay, from an old guy and whatever. So I then recognized that how much there is on the air, okay, that you can download or you can listen to, whatever. And it awed me, one, that I could even get on and do it, okay, and be published and be out there. But the other part of it is I realized after listening, there's a lot of stuff out there that wouldn't make it. Okay. Yeah. In the old days, I did go back in '67. I went with my folk buddies and we hit 3 record companies there in Hollywood to try and see if we could get a deal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very hard. Okay. They had a recipe, and, they were all guys in suits, and their attitude was, unless you've got a real gimmick, you're just like anybody else. So we never got past the secretary, when we were making that promotion. Now you can do something really good. And because David is such a good producer, We Were Golden is something that could have been a hit in 1967.
Wow.
And it's that's what I've been told by people that have heard it. I've got people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that have heard the song
Nice.
and have texted me back and said, Mike, it would be a hit in that period of time.
Oh, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I always say in this creative journey, it's always ups and downs, and I love asking this question because it also helps me. But with all that and the pressures of trying to, I guess, quote unquote, make it with whatever it is that we're trying to do, or whatever it means to you of what making it is, like what advice as far as like things that you do to kind of keep things into perspective in that creative journey for yourself?
That's an interesting question. And I'll give it to you this way. When I started recording, I have 5 kids. Okay. They're all married and grown and families. And I would send my music to them. And sometimes it wasn't the final cut, but it would be whatever. And I would get, yeah, Dad, that's good, or whatever back. Not a lot of enthusiasm, not a lot of tell me more about it or whatever. And my ego was a little bruised. Okay. Gee, here's their 75-year-old dad at the time out there trying to do something. And, and I mean, we're a tight family, so it's not an issue. It was my ego a little bit. And then my son one day, who lives back in Colorado, we were driving, and I said something about the music, and I said, well, it's not too bad for a 75-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, Meosha, he said, Dad, you're the one that's got to like it. It doesn't matter if anybody else likes it. And you've got to be happy with yourself. And there's that old line, Ricky Nelson's song about Garden Party, where he talks about, you got to please yourself because you can't please everyone. And so that's where I'm at in this is I want a good product. I want it to be out there. If it gets 10,000 hits, wonderful, or 2,000 plays or whatever it is, it's fine. I'm proud of what I did.
Right.
And that's what I would tell younger people is have pride in your product.
Sure.
Don't expect everybody to say, oh, you're God's gift. Okay. Just have pride in your product, and don't take the shortcuts because shortcuts show up eventually. And so that would be my thing is again, it gets back to respect. I don't expect anybody to call me up and say, gee, Mike, I want to record you. But it's just, I guess my perspective, and I've, listened to a few of your podcasts, and I just go, when we get older, we've learned that the rose-colored glasses are off, but we have a vision. We have creative people have a vision of where it's going to go, and as long as you can keep that vision, you'll be successful in your own heart.
That's
if not
true.
otherwise.
That is so true. No, I love that. I love that. Thank you for that amazing advice. So where can people find you on social media to keep up with you?
The band is a virtual studio band. We bring in the whole concept of Mikey and the Mustangs, and it comes from a line in the song. It's not really me. It's Mikey's and the Mustang.com. We're also on Spotify, Amazon, with We Were Golden plus albums and whatever. And that's where they can find us. And lately we've been really getting a lot of traffic, and which is really exciting. And so the concept, which I didn't sort of give you, the band is mainly studio musicians, and we bring in artists from time to time. I got the idea from how Ringo Starr used to do his all-star band.
Yeah.
So rather than be me and always be me and my limitations, I wanted to bring in musicians as well as singers. I have Travis Gilliams, who's a really, really great singer, and these people are working with me, and I'm becoming more of an executive producer and less of an artist of actually, because I want people to like the music, and it doesn't matter to me whether I'm singing it or not.
Right. I get that. I love that. Absolutely. I mean, it takes a village, right? I mean, we can't do everything.
Oh, yeah, you can. If you, I mean, I've learned. What's that old saying is I'm a jack of all trades, but I really don't know a whole bunch. In other words, I can play tennis. I know how to play tennis, but I'm not very good. I know how to play guitar. I'm not very good. I know how to do business. I'm better at that. In other words, there's things that you're better at, but you like to do other things. And that's what this was, is I knew my limitations, and but the quality of the product has been so good due to Dave and the artists that are involved with me. It's been it's a fun ride.
I love that. Are you on TikTok by any chance?
No.
I just had to ask.
Old. I know, I'm too. There's my age showing. Okay. When all this ballyhoo about TikTok, and I'm going, gee, I've lived 77 years without it. I don't need it. And I've been on it. I mean, I've seen some stuff on it, but I'm going, okay. It's okay, but I'm not going to get anything out of it. Technology, real quick, technology was, when I was a kid, even when I was in college, high-tech phones were a phone in your kitchen with a long cord that you could walk around the kitchen and talk. Okay, that was technology. Okay, it was big when you got that long 15-foot cord. Prior to that, it was on the wall, and you had to stand there and talk to your girlfriend right in front of your parents. I mean, that kind of thing.
That's hilarious. I have a last question, and I've never done this before, but I just feel like it's right. A bonus question for you, so no pressure.
Okay.
If your life was a movie, what would its title be, and who would play you?
And you've never asked this question before.
Never asked this question before.
Oh, what would the title be? Gee, I thought I wrote a song about that. Boy, that's hard. The title is, I want to say, A Blessed Life, which I know doesn't sell anything. I just think that it would be, I'm fourth generation Native Californian, and my kids, I have a great grandchild. He's seventh generation of Californian. I think it would just be living the dream, because I have done so many things in my life and had the opportunity to do so many things in my life, and have a wonderful family, and I've had, there's, nothing's pure. There's all good and bad that happens through life, but I'm talking to you at 77 years of age. Okay. And as far as who would play me, let's see, I
have someone.
Oh, who's that?
Michael Douglas.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah,
that's fine. Fine. In fact, we probably look a little bit alike now. I mean, at least in the hair.
I think
anyway, thank you, sweetie.
He's a great actor. But thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you and hearing the journey. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you so much. And just keep doing what you're doing. You do a great job, and it makes people like me feel important. It also allows us to stir our creative juices and get and get on in life. So, Meosha, thank you very, very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.